Hello and welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wild at Heart show, Real, Authentic, Uncut, the show for men, by men, about men, meaning about men's topics, here on USA Global TV and radio. We already had over 30 shows the last months when we started in May. And my name is Roland Friedl. I'm originally from Austria. I'm here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm a co-host together with the founder, Dr. Jack Kirby, on the Mallorca Connection every Tuesday. The Talking Head Show, the Business Channel on Wednesdays. I'm the moderator and host of the Men's Show you're watching right now, and every second week, 2 hours before the Earth Show. And yeah, but my background is I run a training, consulting, coaching company in Switzerland since many years. We consult and operate international huge companies worldwide, but also startup companies. If you want to get more information about myself, go on the website, rolandfriedl.com. But today we're talking about men's topics. The topic today is enjoying life alone without a relationship, a man's perspective on this. Quite an interesting topic because there's more and more single, more and more divorced people. And as always, I'm not alone. I have amazing panelists, people from different parts of the world with different backgrounds. As I said myself, I'm Austrian. Right now, I'm in my motorhome. I'm broadcasting from my motorhome in the south of Spain on the Atlantic coast between Gibraltar and Cadiz. And my other panelists join me from different countries. Actually, today we are in totally 4. So let's welcome my dear friend from the Middle East, from Egypt, Mohamed.Mounir. Hello, Mohamed. You're muted, my friend.
As usual, yes. I'm all good, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for asking.
Great show, good to see you, man.
Yes,
inshallah. It's good to see you, my dear friend. It's good to see you.
Same here.
Good. And from the UK, Mr. Big Scott is in the house too.
Yo. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi, Scott. Great to have you back on the show. How you doing?
I'm all right. Just scraping the ice off the car at the minute, so it's a bit cold over here.
How is the UK without the Queen? Well, we cannot say "Save the Queen." God save the Queen.
No,
what are you singing right now?
God save the king. If you sing it, yeah. So
okay, so maybe the Sex Pistols are gonna change their lyrics.
Maybe, or they might write a brand new one.
Okay. Good to have you back on the show. Yeah, and last but not least, also from Egypt, from the Middle East, our dear friend hazem.baraka. Hi, Hazem. Hi, my friend. Hi, great to see you.
Hello, how are you? All is good, Roland, Mounir, and Big Scott.
Yeah, good.
Yes.
Miss you
good
guys.
To see you again. Yeah, good to see you guys. Yeah, Christian and MARCIN have a day off today. They're quite busy. They're joining us the next time. So it's the 4 of us on the topic. And it's interesting, Scott and you and myself, we are single, and the other 2 guys are married. So it's an interesting topic, to enjoying life alone with a relationship, a man's perspective. And guys, in preparation for the show, I did some research. And I said in the beginning, more and more people are single, making living by themselves. Especially women, because there was a lot of change going on the last decade. So women have their own income. They don't need a man anymore to support them, especially in the Western European countries. And so there are more single women who never married, or single women who, because they get divorced, because they can make their own livings and they don't need a supporter. And an interesting topic is about being alone. What I found out is that women can handle it much easier to be alone than men. I mean, I met a man on the tour. Of course, we are different kind of people on the road. We love to be by ourselves and traveling alone. But in general, it's more an issues for men than for women being alone. How about you guys? I mean, even when you're married, but what do you think about? Maybe start with Scott, because I know that you're single. Or Scott. Enjoying life alone, yes or no? And why?
I sort of disagree with that. I think maybe younger men might find it harder to not be in a relationship. But I think, I've had lots of stints in my lifetime where I've had long spells of being by myself. So you get accustomed to living by yourself and filling your time. I have children, I have Lydia. So I devote a lot of my time to her, but the time I have in between that I fill with all sorts of different social things, or I haven't for a while because of the pandemic and everything. But yeah, being single, I think we need to. In our lives, especially as men, we need to be alone, because when we first born, we have our mother, and our mother does everything for us, prepares for us. So we think that a relationship, that's what a woman does. And as you just said, Roland, life has changed, people have changed, women have changed, their roles have changed, heterosexual male roles have changed. But going back to being single, I've had long spells of it, and I get used to it. But I think it's necessary on a man's journey, and even on a woman's journey, because in the early days, I went from relationship to relationship to relationship, but you never really get time to find yourself. And I think that's what, to enjoy being alone, you need to be able to find yourself. And in order to find yourself, you need to be alone, whether it be for a week, a month, 6 months, a year, whatever life dictates. But I think some men can handle it easier, same as women. But life without a relationship can be lonely. But it's what do you want from a relationship? What do you class as a relationship? As an older male, and being a married male as well, you have commitments to your children, your work, your home life. But so then your spare time is very, very sporadic and precious. So a relationship for me at this age and at this stage, because I'm concrete in my life, is quite hard, because it's hard to find a woman who's like, I'm not saying it's literally look in your diary, when are you free, when am I free, because we all have life, we all have issues. But being single, it's a journey, and it's an exploration, and I think we should use it. We should all do it. We should all experience it.
Absolutely. And I know that some other culture, for example, in Buddhism, they have this 4 phases. You grow up as a kid, and then you learn something, you do your job, you build up a business or whatever, you have a family, and then you leave the family, not forever, but you leave the family for a while, becoming a monk or whatever, and having a so-called me time. And I can absolutely relate with what you said, because for myself, I was always in relationships. I had a girlfriend or 2 girlfriends for a long time. Then I had my first marriage for 15 years. After this marriage, I have my next marriage for 15 years. Then I broke down another girlfriend for 5 years. And for me, it's the first time that I'm traveling alone, and I'm alone. And to be honest, guys, in the beginning, it was... Well, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it was
it's an adventure. Feeling. It's something new. Yeah.
Absolutely something new. I said, how will it feel? I'm a very open person. It's not a problem to meet. I meet always people to talk, but it's different than have a relationship. I said, how will it be? Especially, when you share the nice moments, a sunset or a good rest or whatever. Yes, I miss it a little bit, but to be honest, I also enjoy, and I learn to enjoy time by myself, and what you said, to get to know myself much better, and I really have time without distractions, just being by myself, making my own decisions. But sometimes, Mounir, you know me, when I was always a people pleaser. When a girl said I want this, okay, I did it, even though I didn't like to do it. Okay, let's go there. Okay, we go there, but I didn't like it. But now I can do what I want. Absolutely. Well, I don't have to do what I don't want. Let me say the other way around. And it's so far the last months, it is an amazing journey. To be honest, I'm not really a single, because we separated, but we call every day. So actually we're together, but we won't see each other for many months. Actually, maybe again in April or something. So for many months. But I absolutely enjoy it. It's a new experience. And really, and as I said, Scott, it's a new journey. It's something new, and we always are triggered by change. But once you're in, and you go through,
that's the fundamental journey, is to find out yourself and to take time out to find yourself. And then
really to face
you become comfortable.
And also recognize your emotions. When you're scared or you're lonely. Well, I never felt lonely, but you were scared or have self-doubts or something. When you go through, when you recognize it, when you face it, when you accept it, when you go through it, then it's so liberating afterwards. Absolutely.
Be interesting to see what the married men say.
Yeah, but Mounir, my dear friend, I know that you are also, like myself, married twice, but in between you had a break. let's talk about the break. How was it for you? Did you enjoy it or not?
Absolutely, and it was a life turning. And I mean, it's when you start in the beginning, I was, um, God, I do have my home and I do have my TV and I do have my sofa. Why do I need to start all over again? So it was a little bit scary and I was feeling a little bit lonely. But afterwards, started to have a different focus on different relationships. So it was in the beginning, it was mainly my focus was on the family, kids, my wife and family and kids, and then the common people that we do have all together, so that we're always doing things together. But once I got divorced, then it was again a different perspective, because now all the focus started to be on myself. And once I started to be focusing on myself, what happens is that I started to focus on different relationship rather than having, you know, uh, um, how can I say it? It's a love relationship with a spouse or a girlfriend or something. Now I do have a relationship with my kids, which is much more solid. Friends, um, and family, extended family, and so on. So those are the relationship was absolutely an eye opener, and it felt that I am satisfied with different type of relationships that I used to have. And what happened is it was really the focus on myself. I was focusing on myself, getting better. What am I eating? Things that I did not even care about before, because my main focus was exactly about my wife and kids. This is where the things happen, and it was, oh, now this is something that is new, and I started to enjoy it, to be honest.
My dear friend, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you get separated, but it's never fun, you know. When you realize that it's broken, the relationship is broken, the marriage broken. Have you been scared and said, "Oh shit, I left alone. My family is moving out. My wife, my kids are moving. I am left alone." Did you had any depressions, or did it struck you, or they said, "Okay, it is"? And how long was the time that you really were struggling, and then they said, "Okay, it is like." But how long was the time from the shock to accept it and said, "Okay, I make the
Okay.
best out of it"?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I mean, it's in the beginning, it was not fun at all. Again, it was all about denial and refusing this kind of things, and I was absolutely questioning myself and questioning and taking all the responsibility, which was wrong. But I was feeling I'm totally responsible, that I was not able to hold on to my family. I was not able to hold on to my life, and so on. And this was devastating. So at that point of time, of course, it was not really good. I'll tell you what. It took me like 4 months until I set up my TV screen so that I can watch. It was only couple of channels, and that's it. And I still was absolutely, why should I set up the TV? I do have a TV at home, and I want to go and sit in my lazy boy, and I miss my kids, and I miss my home, and so on. It was not really fun at that. But at that point of time, Roland, what happened is that the focus started to feed what would be the process, because staying there for weeks, and it took me like 3 4 weeks. It was not eating, not sleeping, not doing anything, and thinking, and so on. But after that, what happens is that I thought that I love triangles. Everything is three things for me. So I started saying, okay, what do I need to go in order to pass this part? And it was first of all acceptance. So I started to think about that I need to accept this new reality, and I need to accept that I did not take the decision, and sometimes things happen to us. So, and we need to co-op. So acceptance is the first thing. The second was absolutely being the how can I say it in English? It's being patient about what will happen, because it takes time, and it will be tough, but I need to process this, and I need to be patient because I need to get myself all together again. So that was the second. Absolutely. So patient. So first of all, acceptance, patient, and then the third one, which was really making the difference, is that I hope for a better tomorrow. So if when I started to realize that I did some mistakes and it was not 100% myself, it's a relationship. That means that the being alone, that means that I did not choose this alone, but it was another person, and it was, a shared relationship. It was not only my responsibility, as if I'm the god of this family. So I needed to protect, I needed to nourish, and I was not God. And now I was started to realize that. So at that point of time, the hope for tomorrow, this is what started to get me to start focusing on myself and seeing how can I get the best out of the situation. And it was really, I'm not saying it's when now I'm seeing it was fun because I was alone. I was washing my dishes, trying to cook, trying to take care of the travel things and my bags and everything. It was the laundry. And to be honest, the first time I went to the supermarket, and I was saying, okay, wow. And I was in front of the rack where all the cheese is there. And I said, I don't even know what is the type of cheese that I like. It was to that extent, something else, someone else. And I was totally focusing on the people rather than on myself. So this is where it started to be, don't get me wrong. It was not fun, but it's the process of it. And then being able to control your life and focus on yourself so that you can get better.
Thank you, Mira. I can absolutely relate to that.
Yeah, me too as
Hello,
well.
Maria.
Yeah, not knowing what you eat. Yeah.
I not knowing what I eat, but I remember because between my first and my second marriage or relationship, I was 6 months alone in our apartment in Vienna, and I got an apartment. A friend of mine, she has a lot of real estate, so they have a new one. Here are some keys. Take whatever you want and bring me the keys back and move in. So I saw this amazing penthouse, but there was only the kitchen furniture, nothing else. So I had to buy furniture, washing machine, dryer, and all the electronic stuff and stuff like that. So, and a friend of mine, he was the manager of a huge electronic chain, media market here in Europe. And I gave him a call and said, this and this and this. What kind of that? No idea. I never bought one. I always, like you, Mohamed, I never bought one. I paid for it, but I had no idea what. Just bring me the best, whatever you think it is. Bring it, deliver it, and some stuff so maybe you can bring a guy who can install it. My washing machine connected and stuff like that. Just I had no idea in the beginning. After all, before I go to Hassan, I have one question, Mohamed. You said you had this triangle, the 3 stages. When you accepted the situation, and you said, okay, I guess you said I hope for a better tomorrow. What was your goal? Get your family back, or get as soon as possible the next relationship, or did you say still young and free and single and party? what was the goal?
All right.
What was the aim?
No, yes, absolutely. The hope for better not related with my ex. It was at that point of time I said, if we are signing those paper, so it's not gonna, we will not gonna be return. So that's it. You turn on the of the page, and this is it. So I did not have this kind of intention or trial or thinking that I might have the same life again. But the hope for better tomorrow, it started with being able to control myself and my life again, and being able to understand more about myself, getting an update about myself, knowing what it is, who am I, what do I love, and I started to understand those kind of things, so that I can build for a better tomorrow, whether it is with someone else, being alone, or anything. But at the end of the day, it's going to be better in all cases. I don't know. I don't have a plan, and this is how it was. It was the plan for getting remarried or something. And you know what? It was a few months before I started saying, okay, why do I want to marry again? And I was always thinking, are you going to be marrying? And yes, of course, I'm going to be doing this. And then until there is this time when I started saying, I don't need to be married again. I can I have control of my life. I can live my life peacefully. I manage my life in a nice way. So I don't need a lady anymore. And this is where I started to feel released. Nothing. I can choose. If I meet someone that I love and I care about and we want to move in together, this is something else. But if not, I'm happy the way I am.
Thank you. I guess it's very important that doesn't matter men or women, that we don't get desperate. Yeah, and as you said, okay, I'm happy. I'm working on myself. If somebody's coming in, it's okay. If not, it's okay too. I look at myself first. Hazem, how about you,
Yes,
my
and
friend?
I may.
Sorry, Mounir.
Yes. I know that this question is very difficult. Do we enjoy being alone? Differ from a person to another, and actually, maybe for the same person, it would differ from a status or a situation for another, or a span of time. Yes, you asked if we are happy in the being married now. Yes, and this happy, yes, happy and enjoying it. And what about the first marriage? Because this is the second marriage for me. Sometimes yes, sometimes it's difficult, and in between, freedom. Yes, freedom, we all enjoy it, because being free, coming whatever time you want, getting your friends anytime in the day. I don't know. Yes, when you're married, you cannot do this. Very simple things. Only men can imagine that this is freedom for them, getting their friends anytime, doing whatever they want. Maybe this is freedom. Yes, and another person. Are you a family person, or you like or you love to be alone? Sometimes you miss your family if you're alone, or miss being with an intimate person. But sometimes also when you're alone, your relation with your kids is much stronger. And this actually what happened with me, because my relation with my kids was affected a little bit in my first marriage. When I got separated, we had time in the weekend to do things the way we want, and with a little bit of freedom. And this made some bond that was not made before, because another person was influencing, for example, a relation, or where to go, or what to eat, or what to do at that time. It's very difficult to say. It's is it good to be alone all time, or it's good to be with a person or all time? Yes, it's very, very critical. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to come back to Mounir because he wanted to say something, and then I have another question. Yeah. Mounir, you wanted to add something before? You're muted, my dear friend.
Muted. I was gonna say it was this time, when you got released from that I need to be in a relationship. That was the time that actually got me released from all the strings, and I was like exactly like a free bird. And the funny thing is that my current wife was exactly the same. She was divorced 6 years back, and she did not want to get married. So I'm happy. I don't need to have someone to take care of me. And I was saying I'm happy and I don't need someone to take care of me. And okay, thank you so much. So maybe this is the best formula. And
Yeah,
this is how
absolutely.
it get into this kind of relationship without this kind of, I need someone to be in my life or she needs someone to be in her life.
Absolutely. When you're not needy, when you're not needy, because it is really annoying.
Absolutely. And I'm
Gentlemen, I have
feeling
a question.
complete.
Yeah, Roland,
Yeah,
the devil is your partner when you're alone.
yeah, that's true. Well, gentlemen, I have a question to you guys, because Mounir and Hazem, you both have been married, separated with a break in between, married again, and you both. Well, I could hear, but I don't know, Scott, what you think, but what I could hear in between, after the shock, after acceptance, you know this bird coming out of the cage, you smell, you taste the freedom, you enjoyed it. Why going back into the cage?
Yeah, I agree with that. I was married young, and things had to change drastically. And as I say, being a military child, I spent long spouts of time being alone. So I'm quite comfortable being alone. Don't get me wrong. I love having a partner. I'd love to have intimacy, but the older you get, life gets in the way. And as you were just saying, Mounir, it's nice to have a partner that doesn't depend on you or rely on you, but complements you. Do you know what I mean? And as you say, you've got stuff going on and you see each other and you're with each other and you enjoy them times together. I find I don't know whether I would ever marry again. Do you know what I mean? Because why do you need to have that? And especially in today's day and age, it's a bloody expense you can do without to start off with. Do you know what I mean? It costs you a fortune to get married, and then if it doesn't work, it costs you a fortune to get divorced. Do you know what I mean? So to cohabit, I think that would be a weird, maybe because my daughter's only 15, maybe when she's 18, 19, 20, and she's living her own life, then I might spread my wings and move in with somebody, or I might just go abroad and find myself a nice millionaire-esque cougar or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But I think life and relationships is hard. And I think that's, going saying, I enjoy my own company. Yes, I do like female company, but it's not an imperative. I don't need to have a relationship just to say I'm in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Because these days it's not that simple. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But long spouts alone, yes, you do. After your first marriage, you're like, oh my God, I'm free. And then after a few months, you're like, I'm bored. And after a year or two, I just want to meet somebody that we can meet up and do things. It'd be nice to have somebody to go out and do things with. Do you know what I mean? But not have to worry about if you don't ring them the next day that the world's going to fall apart or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, and you learn that being single. I'm happy with somebody, but I'm also as happy without somebody. My world's not going to fall apart because a relationship has fallen apart, because I've lost lots of relationships, family members, my mother, my father, all of my grandparents, they're all deceased, so I've loved and lost a lot of important people in my life. And you get, I wouldn't say desensitized, do you know what I mean? But the more you see it, the more
stronger.
Yeah, the less painful it becomes. Do you know what I mean? You have that inner strength, life happens. And when you're alone, life is completely different, and enjoy it, embrace it. Somebody will come along that will complement your life. Do you know what I mean? Don't be searching for it every single day, so be happy being by yourself. And as they say, if you look too hard, the one you're looking for will pass you by.
And maybe Big Scott is what started to make me different, or to make me feel different, is that I stopped using the idea of being complemented by someone else. So I'm complete by myself. So there is this kind of thing. I'm complete, you're complete. We don't really need something that is.
We're not insensitive, we're not inhuman, but we are comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and some people find that as not sensitive, but oh, hang on, there's a bit of an echo there. But I totally agree with what you're saying, Mounir. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to fall apart and go, oh my God, my world is broken apart, because you're used to it, you're accustomed to it, and your world isn't going to fall apart. You've got that triangle. It was enjoyable, but I'm not going to fall apart at the seams. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you do in relationships. And sometimes you can become complacent in a relationship. You know.
But I have a question here.
Oh.
You consider yourself, guys, that you're alone because you're not married?
No, because you can still be alone in a relationship.
Yes, of course.
You can be seriously alone in a relationship.
It's a more of a feeling rather than a state. So of course, you know, and some people who do always have relationship with, I mean, just, you know, trying.
Yeah, they go from one to another to another to another to another to another, and they're making the same mistakes because they haven't taken that time out. One thing I learned along the way, and somebody said, if you keep throwing out the same bait, you're going to attract the same fish. Do you know what I mean? So if something's not working in your relationships, then obviously something you're putting out there is attracting the wrong kind of partner.
Yeah, you always have the same pattern. You always have the same pattern.
So you need that time apart to work out and go, hang on, what is going on with the world? Is it me? Is it the world? You know, and accept your flaws. Learn your flaws. If relationships keep fucking up because you're doing the same thing wrong, then sort your shit out. But you need time out to do that. If you go from one to another to another to another, all you're doing is not taking that time out to concentrate on yourself, and you feel that next person coming along is going to make you complete. But whatever's coming along is never going to make you complete. Only you can complete yourself, and you need that time alone.
Absolutely.
To work
and
out
change
who
yourself.
that person is. Yeah.
In fact, it was this time when I started saying, you know, the last time I chose a lady to be my companion was 20 years back. So in fact, I don't know now how to choose my companion. So I needed this time to be able to know, and instead of taking, you know, a bouncing ball, you know, going from the right to left and so on. If it's she's tall, she's brunette, she's blonde, and so that was crazy. But the idea is that, you know, I needed to go into the processes so that I understand what exactly do I need in a woman now, because the last time, you know, it was 20 years back and things have changed. And I've never thought of a woman in that perspective again, because I have one. So I was, you know, don't get me wrong, a pretty lady is a pretty lady. I look at it, but I don't think about her as my wife or my life companion.
As my mother used to say, there's nothing wrong with window shopping.
Of course, that's it.
Yeah.
And that was a process to be able to understand it.
Yeah, you know, as we say, when you're engaged, you know, it means that you stay with your partner, but it doesn't mean that you're blinded.
Yeah.
And I also say, you know, when I messed up also my relationship, and I was thinking about actually 2 days ago myself, and I said, you know what, I made a lot of mistakes. I cannot change them, but I changed, and I won't make the same mistakes again, hopefully. But gentlemen, I have a question to you guys. We talked about, alone, yes, many advantages, get to know you better, and it's also a dramatic change when you, I would say, fall out of a relationship, of a long-term relationship, into becoming a single. And it's a tremendous change, of course.
Yeah.
But it's also a change being a single and then going back in a relationship. How is this process? Do you think, because, you know, you already experienced a long relationship. Now we're getting older, we are mature, we know what we want, what we don't want, we are clearer in our mind, hopefully.
Coming out of any relationship, whichever way it happens, you've got to be heartless if you don't feel it in a certain way. But the older you get, the quicker you can overcome it. Because you're not cold, you're not calculus, but it's like, right, okay, it's not going to work. It's not working, and you've got to be open and honest about that, because you don't want to fool yourself or anybody else. Do you know what I mean? And going back into a new relationship, I think it's a progressive thing. You know, you don't necessarily go out and look for things, right, oh, I'd see that lady at the bar, I really like her, I want to move in with her, marry her, and in 10 years' time, we're going to be living together. I think as you get older, it's a case of, what will be, what will be. You don't push it. if it's meant to be, it will be. And as long as you're putting everything in, if it works, it works. If it doesn't. Whereas when you're younger, you're thinking, I'm putting all of my eggs in this basket. This is the woman I want to be with. After your flirtatious stages, you know, we all go through the stages as young men, depending when you're single, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to go out. I'm attracted to women. So you jump from bed to bed to bed. But then when it comes to serious relationships, you know, these days, as you said, Maria, it's 20 odd years since I've been in a serious relationship. You know, I've had little relationships here and there, but they naturally just fizzle out. So if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I don't see that there's a definitive progression line of when you start seeing with someone that it should be that things change. You know, in a marriage or relationship, your partnership, nothing's perfect, but you should still be able to be you within a relationship. So if you want to invite the boys round, then that shouldn't be a problem to your spouse. If that's the case, then that's not a healthy relationship. You know, just because you've partnered up with somebody doesn't mean you have to change your life. They should complement your life and enjoy the time together and enjoy the time apart and enjoy the time being alone, even within a relationship or marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I have a question to you guys. You're in a married or not married, long relationship, you break it, we are suffering, we're accepting, and we start enjoying, okay? And then we meet the one and only, and I said, okay, that's the one. She's not depending on me. I don't know, depending on her. It's a perfect fit. Okay, let's start a relationship. Is it clear from the moment that you say, yes, that's what I want? Or do you say, hey, stop a moment. What's the price I'm paying for? What do I have to give up that I learned to enjoy the last months or years? Did this come to your mind, or you forgot this freedom thing and said, okay, full in?
Of course. I mean, it was a lot. I think it was first of all, I'm gonna be. Why should I go to another house that is bigger, so that I can have another woman that she's not the mother of my kids and kids? So it was a little bit of a question mark. But again, this is the price you pay because I want to stay with this woman because she's nice and I feel comfortable with her. So this is number one. Number two, the anxiety of getting into a relationship back again, because unconsciously men will have the book of the old relationship with them, because this is how our mental brain work and the process. Oh, this has happened before. Now I need to act in this different way, and so on. So you're always bringing the book of the relationship that you've got and was broken before, and you need to drop this, because otherwise it's going to be not really easy life to live, because you're having two different catalogs. You're treating the one that you have now with some backgrounds that she's not responsible for, and again, everything that you get into, it's in terms of cost, in terms of responsibilities and everything, you're going to be paying a different price. But again, it's if you don't feel that this equation matches, and you do have a winning situation with the cost and elements and agony and care and all these kind of things, it does not worth it. But when you feel that it is worth it, really, because these women add a lot to your life in terms of friendship, passion, care, and intimacy, and everything. Now you see, okay, now I needed to do that, and this is the price that I'm going to be paying in order to get this. That's how simple it is, but it's our decision as well.
Yeah, and Mounir, an additional question I have: did you ever think about it? Have there been some doubts or anxieties that it really works? Because that was my thinking in my the first marriage broke. Then I went in the second marriage and said, oh my gosh, does it really work? Will it really work, or will it break it again? Had you any did this come to your mind?
Of course, and this is yes, and that's natural, because you're you feel that there are things that you were responsible for, so you don't want to do the same mistakes again. And a lot of it unconsciously that you bring in this kind of things, because now you started to live together. And then if you see something that is happening, this signal, it triggers a lot from the past. And if it triggers and you started to treat this new marriage with the triggers that happened in the first marriage, then now you're mixing things up. I needed to have a support in order to forget about, bringing in this kind of catalog with me, with everything that Hoda is doing because of what I've seen before. So there was this kind of anxieties. It was a little bit stressful in some situation, and I needed to get some consultation about it.
But don't forget that we here in the Middle East, we say that marriage is like a watermelon. You never know what's if it's red or white.
Yeah.
After marriage, maybe it's a bad watermelon. So
Well, here in Spain, we knock on the watermelon. We can hear it if it's good or not.
okay.
That's what we do in Spain here. Hazem, my question to you, my dear friend, because I know, I strongly believe that you're really connoisseur. When you had this in-between freedom between these two marriages, do you miss it? I hope your wife is not watching.
Yeah, she's not watching. That's a good comment. Yes. I needed it, and I miss it, and I enjoyed it. But I am also brave enough to get into another marriage. Maybe yes, as you said, that with a different way of thinking, because I don't want, for example, full-time commitment, because my marriage also, my current wife, she has her home and her kids, so we meet like 3 or 4 days a week. That's good and gives space as well for you. And I think this is healthy in a relation to have your own space at the week. Also have space with your kids alone a couple of days at the weekend. This is also important. Yeah.
So you're living in 2 houses?
Yep.
That's cool. That's a lot. I loved it. I loved it.
I love the what he said. You got to be brave to go into a relationship.
Yeah. I love this. But to be brave, and I also love this idea of having 2 houses, because when you can afford it, when it's not an issue of the money, it's an amazing thing that you can say, okay, we spend 3-4 days together, and 3-4 days are by ourselves, or with our own kids or whatever. It's cool.
I can totally agree with that, because I've got my own flat, and I see my daughter on certain days. And then the last relationship was then we would see each other on days when she didn't have her children, or I didn't have her children, which over a year was quite spasmodic. Do you know what I mean? So then you don't create a great relationship. But I think if I was to go into a relationship in the future, as you has, I need my own bolt hole. Do you know what I mean? You need, and it's going to take a lot of persuading. As I say, my youngster's young. I'm not going anywhere for the next few years. I've got my flat. I like a relationship where I can see you, and we can see each other a few days a week, and that's absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But then when we're not there, the world's not falling apart. There's nothing else happening. We see each other. You have that fun, and you enjoy that in life. And I think as you get older, especially as a male, I'm quite comfortable with that. I don't have to be living with somebody 7 days a week where she sat on the sofa doing her knitting and I'm watching the football or watching the snooker, do you know what I mean? And the little ones in the background banging hell out of their music or whatever. I think because I've used to living by myself for such a long time, I've become accustomed to it and I enjoy it. And that's why I enjoy being alone, because I can do my stuff. If I want to go into my studio and do something, I can do it without somebody thinking, well, why is he in there and not spending time on me? Do you know what I mean? Or if I just want to go away for a couple of days, it's like, well, where are you going away? What, there's no many questions, no answers. It's just, I want a relation. I enjoy being alone, and I want somebody else that enjoys being alone. And when we get together, it's absolutely amazing. Do you know what I mean? Don't be scared. I'd say to any men that are listening there, and if you've just come out of a relationship, it's going to be hurt, but analyze it, deal with it. If you fucked up in some way, deal with it. You know, and if there's certain things that came off with it, deal with it. But don't jump into another relationship just to feel wanted and comfortable. Be happy in yourself and take that time before you venture into another relationship. Because if you invest that time in yourself, hopefully the next relationship will teach you better lessons, not the same lessons.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed any of the other shows, please go to our website, bonfiredocs.com. But also, if you want to go in contact with this gentleman, or if you want to get an advice from these guys, from their experience, you also find all the contact details of each of these gentlemen on the website, bonfiredocs.com. I want to say something, but Hazem, you said two different, and Scott, two different places, houses. Even on the road, a few weeks ago in Dolores, on a camping site, I met a couple, a German couple. Yes, a German couple. They are traveling together, but in two motorhomes.
Perfect.
Two motorhomes. Yeah. He has a large one. She has a smaller one. But
obviously, one of them snores.
No. But they met on the road a few years ago, and they said, "Okay, no, we keep it. We travel together. We stand together, but we eat together. But sometimes I need my own space. I want to be by myself, read a book or watch TV."
Well, you have two cars. So you have two cars. So why not have two homes and two camper vans? Yeah.
Why not another? Maria, my dear friend, one question to you. This wasn't an option for you to say, okay, we have two houses or two apartments?
Yeah, of course. Yes, it was because even we were living very close to each other in the same compound, so we can continue in this and without moving in. But it was my second wife, she didn't want that, and she wanted to have a complete big family, being together. Her kids are young, so it was definitely easier to stay there, because now we will not have to be imposing a new man inside this kind of family, and the old father will not gonna be offended and everything. But at the end of the day, she really wanted to have this kind of continuous full relationship with the kids and my kids as well. I mean, she was thinking of how can we bring the two kids together. So
patchwork family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what it's about. It's about amalgamating two lives that's complementary for each other. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Gentlemen, we are coming to the end. Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for your openness and for sharing this. And I guess it was I learned a lot, and I guess it was a huge value also for our listeners, for our guests. And yeah, thank you so much. I wish you all the best, gentlemen. I'm very happy to discuss with you all these topics every week, because I enjoy it and I learn so much from you guys. And yeah, see you next week. Same time, same station, same procedure. And ladies and gentlemen, please go to the website, bonfiredocs.com. You will find all re-recordings there. And join us again next week, Wednesday, same time on USA Global Tweet Radio. Thanks, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.